All right. I have a short video today. I just wanted to let you guys know about something that I caught myself doing and I hadn't really thought about it. I just did it normally. And it's one of those things that you're going to either say, of course, I knew that, or you're going to say, oh, that's a good point. So, quickly, it's about working in a certain order, especially inside a SAB, still air box. Even in front of a flow hood, although people feel safer in front of a flow hood. As you guys know, I don't use a flow hood. It's too expensive. I live in a small house. I don't have anywhere to put it when I'm not using it. I don't use it that often, so I just use a still air box. So in the still air box, I noticed that I work from the cleanest and safest in order towards the dirtiest and more risky or most risky operation. So for example, let's say I've got a few things I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do is the cleanest, which is like, let's say I'm going to inoculate liquid culture. So that's very clean. I'm going to use a syringe. I'm going to go straight into the port. There's not going to be anything flying around. That's super clean. Inoculating liquid culture with a syringe. So let's say that after that, I've got some agar work to do. So that would be pretty clean still. Agar to agar, clean agar. If I need to isolate agar because it's dirty, I leave that for later. For example, before messing with dirty agar or contaminated agar that I want to transfer out from, that would be one of the last things I would do, if not the last one. If I'm going to do agar to agar but it's clean, that could be next. If I'm going to do spores to agar, the way I do it, I just scrape a little bit, dip it right in the middle, so that's pretty clean. Of course, you need to clean everything afterwards. You need to spray everywhere in there if you're using a still air box, because you don't want those spores to contaminate anything else you're doing. But spores, when you do it that way, they don't tend to fly around in the still air box. And if you were scared that they would, again, spray with alcohol in there, give it a few minutes, give it 20 minutes, and then continue with whatever you're going to do. Now, if I'm going to inoculate grain, again, if it's a grain jar that has a port, that's super clean. But if I need to open it to either do grain to grain, or because I don't have for some reason a port to inject into and I have to open it and inject and all that stuff, do the cleaner stuff first, but do that before you're gonna do like if I'm gonna drop popcorn or ready rice into a Ziploc, that's pretty messy and there's stuff flying all over the place. That would be one of the last things I would do. For example, agar to grain. If you're doing agar to grain, you need to open the lid, you need to open a Ziploc and dump grain in there, and then cut the agar, put it in there. So you don't want to do that right after you did something messy that may have thrown stuff in the air. Again, you're always going to spray. You're going to wait for it to settle. You're going to give it a few minutes. Or if you want to be real careful, you can actually wipe everything down inside the SAB again before you do something else, if you're worried. But it's that's all I wanted to talk about. It's, if I'm going to work in the still air box, I go from clean and safe towards dirty and more risky operations. And that's it. That's all we got. I wanted to share that before I forgot, because it's something that I was doing without thinking. It was just logical. It made sense to me. So thanks for your support. Thanks for watching.